Taking a nice breath in and a nice breath out. And just allowing yourself to arrive in this moment. Maybe one more time for those who are in class or at the retreat this weekend, and taking an assessment from head to toe and checking in with the bones of your being. Checking in with your stability, making sure the foundation is solid, all the parts are present, that you haven't lost any or given them off to someone else to hold. And if in fact you have given them off to someone else to hold, then in your mind now, imagine they're coming back to you, that you're taking them back, that you're reintegrating them into your being, that you are empowering yourself to know your wholeness once again. Never to give away part of your being again. Placing the right hand on the heart and left hand over the right. And together we'll lift our voices in one beautiful Om. Take a nice breath in. Bowing the head to the heart with humility and reverence, acknowledging the miracle that is this physical body, this vehicle that we travel this life. And then drawing the face together, releasing the hands. And so this morning, kind of bringing together all the concepts of the weekend and also introducing a new one. We talked a little bit about the poisons of the heart. And we've talked previously in previous satsangs about that as well. Hello, Miss Kelly. And how one of the primary poisons of the heart is doubt. Doubt. And that when doubt sets into the heart, we begin to see life through a place of perceived brokenness. I doubt it can ever be good. I doubt I can ever be strong. I doubt that there's peace in the hearts of people. I doubt my own efficacy. I doubt I have the right to be here. Doubt becomes the primary poison of the heart, which leads us to perceive ourselves and the world we live in as broken or missing pieces. We had a jigsaw puzzle in Student Center. It was quite beautiful. It had all the flowers from all around the world, so it was like the map of the world, and then the flowers superimposed on the areas that they come from. And it was a little bit of an intimidating puzzle. And it sat there for a few weeks. One little piece here, one little piece there. Nobody seemed to want to sit and take the time to work through the complexity of the colors and the complexity of the patterns. And then suddenly Laura did. KP, Krishna Priya. She sat down and she said, I don't even really like puzzles. And she sat with that puzzle for a few days. She said, I was just going to spend 5 minutes, and here it is, many hours later. But she got a good part of it done. And then we had a few other people come in, and they did a little bit here, a little bit there. But KP really did a good amount of the work on that puzzle. And the day came when it was finished. But there were 2 pieces missing. 2 pieces, and we looked everywhere. Those pieces were not to be found. So doubt crept into the heart about whether those pieces ever existed. And KP came to me and she said, I'm going to take the puzzle apart now. And I'm actually really looking forward to what that feels like, to take the puzzle apart and put it back in the box. And I said, okay. And we talked for a moment about what unfortunate it was that there were 2 pieces missing. But we looked everywhere, and they weren't to be found. Maybe it was a defective puzzle. You get where I'm going with this, right? Okay. So all the pieces go back into the box and the box gets put away. And Michelle comes walking up to us yesterday with a puzzle piece. Look what I found. One of the pieces of the puzzle. It was on the floor, under something. Oh, so now we're only missing one piece. But now we have a better idea that it's actually there somewhere. That the puzzle itself was not defective. It's that the piece got knocked over to the side and simply hasn't become visible yet. But think about how that reflects our everyday life and our perception of ourselves as a broken person versus a whole person, as a person who is scattered in pieces, or maybe some of those pieces were never even there to begin with. Maybe we were defective somehow. God didn't give us love. God didn't give us strength, imagination, creativity. Those things must have never been there because I don't see them now. Only to find that we knocked them off the table and that they're in the corner under some dust. And all we have to do is the work of cleaning our house, of gathering our pieces and singing them back into wholeness. As Clarissa so beautifully states in the story of Los Lobos, to sing that which is broken apart back into wholeness. We're still looking for the last piece. If you happen to find it, please let us know. So this essence, this quality of doubt that poisons our heart and our perspective is something that we need to look at and understand so that our life can become a place of empowerment, a place of adventurous thinking, of curiosity, of inquiry, a place where we can look and see honestly our own suffering, the suffering of all others, but also the potential of our healing. That is a potential. Will it happen in one fell swoop? When you open the box, is the puzzle already put together? No. That's the whole point of the puzzle, is that it's not yet put together. And it has its own dignity, and it has its own creativity, and it has its own complexity. And you have the honor of interacting with that. And one piece at a time, bringing it toward wholeness. And that's your journey in this life also. It's not meant to be one aha moment. It's 90 years of aha moments. 50 years of aha moments. However long you are on this planet of aha moments. Each one bringing you closer and closer and closer to the wholeness of your own self. The wholeness of your own self that the seed of doubt has taken away from you. But we have to be careful because there's so many pitfalls on this path. And the greatest pitfall is the ego. Because the ego sees things, defines things, tells you what's happening. But the ego is very rarely accurate. The ego is only close to accurate when it's a healthy ego, when it sees things clearly and not from the perspective of its own self-aggrandizement and validation. When the ego is not healthy, which is probably 98% of the time, it's always looking for validation of itself. It's always looking to become stronger, more powerful, more forceful, more relevant. And we don't even know it's happening. We don't even know. We don't recognize 98% of the time our passive-aggressive nature in knocking other people down so that we can feel a little stronger in a moment of weakness. We don't notice 98% of the time the judgments that fly out of our mouths and out of our minds at people for no good reason. We don't realize that 98% of the time we're walking around poisonous with venom, imposing that venom on ourselves and others for the sake of an ego that is a bit ill. When we start working within the realm of spirituality and within the qualities of the ethics of any tradition, whether it's yoga or Christianity or Judaism or Islam, they all basically have the same ethics. When we start working in those ethics sincerely and significantly, what we begin to recognize is that these qualities like doubt, lust, desire, greed, hatred, and unhealthy anger must be brought to a place of control. Otherwise, that 98% will never diminish. Will always only be 2% present. When, in fact, in any given moment, we could be 98% present and 2% absent. What kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to live the kind of life where you're mostly absent? Or where you're mostly present? I don't say all the way present, because that's really not possible. Not while we're in a physical body. This physical body in and of itself is a hindrance to presence. It doesn't have to be, but it is. We become very dissatisfied with it, doubtful of it, insulted by it even. That's a distraction. So 98% is a pretty nice number to shoot for when we talk about presence. And we give ourselves that other 2% and say, okay, I know. 2% of the time I'm completely lost. My bones are scattered across the floor of that cave. And I don't know, one's probably covered with dust over in the corner somewhere. So I'm not sure how I will ever feel stable again. So I'll just sing louder. I'll just sing louder. And then I'll just sing even louder. And maybe the beauty of the song will draw the hidden bone out of hiding and pull it slowly and compassionately back to the rest of it, the rest of itself, the rest of its body. Now that sounds like a bit of a miracle. But hey, we thought the puzzle was defective, and there was the piece sitting on the floor. Yep, we never know. We just don't. Whether it's a Barnes & Noble $9.99 puzzle or a 99-year-old body or a 9-year-old body or any other age. We just don't know. So instead of coming from this place of doubt and then allowing that doubt to poison us to the point where we begin to grasp at everything for validation, look for your pieces. Where are the pieces? Let me gather them up together and bring them to a greater state of wholeness. And through that process, acquire clarity. Clarity about my own self, my own being, my own life, and therefore the life of all others. The sanctity of that life and the wonder of that life. So let me read again to you the last story from this morning, called The Four Rabbi. One night, 4 rabbi were visited by an angel who awakened them and carried them to the 7th vault of the 7th heaven. There they beheld the sacred wheel of Ezekiel. Somewhere in the descent from paradise to earth, one rabbi, having seen such splendor, lost his mind and wandered, frothing and foaming, until the end of his days. The second rabbi was extremely cynical. "Oh, I just dreamed Ezekiel's wheel, that's all. Nothing really happened." The third rabbi carried on and on about what he had seen, for he was totally obsessed. He lectured and would not stop with how it was all constructed and what it was all meant to be. And in this way, he went astray, thinking he had all the answers. And he betrayed his faith. The fourth rabbi, who was a poet, took a paper in hand and a reed and sat near the window, writing song after song, praising the evening dove, his daughter in her cradle, and all the stars in the sky, and he lived his life better than before. So this story tells us that there are 3 ways to be lost and 1 way to be found. The first way to be lost is through illusion and delusion. Is thinking that the experience of human happiness is the ultimate experience. Like happy, happy, joy, joy, I'm satisfied, I got what I want, this is so cool and amazing. And then embracing on an egotistical level something that is meant to be held sacred and humbly. And we see this a lot in the world today. We see people who get a little bit of knowledge and think that it's the end of knowledge. And they become lost as a result. They become lost in their own giddiness. Don't get me wrong, it's great to be happy. Be happy, be joyful, laugh, dance, sing, pray, whatever it is for you. But remember, that's not the end. That's not the end of wisdom. That's actually more ego. I'm satisfied. I learned something. This is great. I've got it now. Do you? Are you living it? Are you putting it into play in every single moment of every single day? Are you allowing the wisdom to direct your relationships, to direct your intentions? Or do you just feel that you've discovered a treasure that's only meant for you? It's powerful. First way we get lost. First way we get lost. Second way we get lost is through cynicism, doubt. Not believing what we see. Not looking out with clear eyes and a clear heart. Not giving ourselves enough space to embrace the potential of things. So we see the other day, the groundhog didn't see his shadow. Oh, I was so happy. I was like, yes. 1 for the team, absolutely. I'm not a winter person. I completely admit it. I don't mind the winter as long as I'm not in it. I like it from the window. And I like an occasional stroll in the warmth after the snow has fallen or while it's falling, when things become very quiet, which I just read a really interesting article about, how snow compresses sound, which is why it's so very quiet after it snows. But that little groundhog, he was just so brilliant in not seeing his shadow. And it was beautiful out that day. It was like 55 degrees and sunny and absolutely wonderful. Then the next day came. And that little groundhog obviously wasn't too sure what he saw or didn't see, because the temperatures plummeted and it started to snow. And it would be very easy to just become cynical about the weather and about these silly folklorish type practices that we follow. I mean, how does a groundhog even know anyway? Of course the groundhog knows. I'm being example of cynicism, you know. But you know what happened? Instead of becoming lost in the idea that it was friggin' frigid out there, and windy and snowy and just pretty horrible, I walked my dog out back as the sun was rising. And as I'm walking back there, the sun is rising up through the trees. And the clouds had this, I don't know, a mist. And there was blue in the sky, and it was crazy because there was like blue in the sky mostly, but there was also this mist, and there were also these clouds, and there was the sun rising, and the beams of the sun shining through the trees, and the snow falling into the sun's rays. And I was breathtaking in that moment. I literally couldn't move. My ego said, "Where's your camera?" And my heart said, shut up. And just witness. Just witness. So don't let cynicism steal from you the beauty of the moment, because that beauty will never be had again. It's so absolutely unique. And absolutely in that moment, it requires 98% of you. It doesn't require 100%, but it most certainly requires more than 2%. So maybe we can all come into a place of awe and wonder at the beauty, the revelation of nature and of the divine, and give us a little bit more of ourselves to that, rather than to the cynicism of what's wrong with the world and what's wrong with everything. The third way that we lose ourselves is when we think we have the answers. That third rabbi felt that he knew, but we don't know. As long as there is the slightest bit of imbalance in our mind, in our ego, we need humility. We need humility. We need to come back consistently to the place of inquiry. You know, many of you know that I have a very traumatic childhood background, and I went through counseling for many years. And there came a point in time where the nightmares stopped. They stopped. Oh my God, I got a full night's sleep. First time in a lifetime. It was the most amazing experience. Having had, 30 some odd years of never sleeping a full night and having these chronic nightmares, to one night I had a full night's sleep. And I thought to myself, wow, this is working. I must be getting fixed. The pieces are all coming back together now. I've got this. Great. I did. For a little while. Until one night where I don't even know. It was like stormy, and Ed was home. We were married at that time. And it was probably like 5 years later. So I had 5 years of being all full of I'm fixed. And then this one night, for whatever reason, that dream, she came back. And she came back to the nth degree. Because I woke up sitting in a corner with a blanket wrapped around me, screaming. And my husband saying, I'm here. You're okay. He always did that. He was such a good man. Such a good man. I wasn't fixed. I had a reprieve. I had a moment of knowing. And then that was followed by moments of forgetting. Because that's the human process, is that we remember, and then we forget, and then we remember something else, and then we think we got it, and then we forget, and then we remember something else, and then we think we got it, and then we forget. And it's this constant back and forth and back and forth. And that's being alive in this human body, is to expect to forget, but to also know that you will remember again. But that the remembrance is typically only a small part of the story. But we expect it to be the whole story, which is why we suffer. That is the cause of suffering, is that we forget. And then when we remember, we don't remember completely. That we have forgotten more than we will ever probably remember in this life. So for this third person, it's to come to a place of humbleness, of recognizing that you may never have all the answers. But the beauty is, you might not need them all. You might not. You might just need love. You might just need a devoted heart, a heart of service, a heart of joy in the moments where joy is accessible. a heart that is open to seeing the abundance, even when there's a disaster happening. That way we don't get stuck in the cycle of doubt again. We don't get lost. Our bones don't scatter too far from the pile. This fourth rabbi, what a treasure. That a person should be able to experience their artistic nature in this life. Wow. I'm constantly awed by artists, people who use their voice, their hands, their bodies, their minds to express the abundance that exists, the journey that we are all on, the lostness and the foundness. So many favorite artists of mine. Kathleen Edwards is a singer. Does anybody know who she is? Isn't she wonderful? I love her music because it's dark. she's not really dark, but she's dark, you know. She talks about the most difficult parts of human nature, you know. Yeah, you think you got one on me? What if I call the state? Let them know all about you. They'll take you to prison. Vengefulness she sings about, you know. She sings about addiction. She sings about falling out of love and into hate. She sings about the vulnerability of a young girl's sexuality. She sings about so many different things so powerfully. She really, if you haven't listened to her, Kathleen Edwards, she's amazing. Amazing. Tori Amos is another. Oh boy, she got me through some rough years. Her and her imagination. Her and her ability to put poetry to music. Such a brilliant, brilliant mind and a brilliant heart, you know. She's a little dark too. But hey, you know why? Because she's lived. Because she's lived a life where she has been both the victor and the victim. Where she's been both lost and found. And she's able to hold space for both and allow that expression to come forward. I think Dali was very much like that also. I had the benefit when I was younger, I guess I was about 32 at the time. I met an artist named Kenneth Hari. Does anybody know who he is? Yeah, he's an amazing artist. His specialty is pencil and woodblock, but he also now is moving into the acrylic realm. He has hanging in the Vatican his impression of Moses, done in black and white, and I have a lithograph of that actually, signed by him. I did some modeling for him for a while. He was such a tormented soul, an amazing human being, like amazing, but he'd be the first one to be like dark. He dressed in black, you know. He did many portraits of famous people throughout, like Dustin Hoffman, John Wayne, Marilyn Monroe. They all sat for him. You know, queens sat for him, kings sat for him, the president sat for him. An amazing artist and such a giving soul, but tormented. But in his torment, he used that energy to bring forth this most beautiful expression. And he would be the first to say that he was empowered to do so because he lived. Because he loved and he hated. Because he was human completely throughout, in and out, all around. And the expression that he brought forward of that was not one of getting stuck in a place of no expression. It was one of bringing forth a full expression, a full embracing of all that this life is. So that's where this fourth rabbi is, in recognizing, complete recognition of the sacred, through whatever means he was able to muster. For him, poetry. For you, your voice. For you, your art. For some of us, our chanting. For some of us, whatever it is for you. Storytelling for Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Wherever it is that your creativity lies, dive into the deep end. and allow that to be your healer. Because no one else can heal you. No person can come to you. Nobody can take away your pain. It doesn't work that way. The only one who can bring happiness to your life is you. The only one who can show you the light of day is you. The only one who can allow you to remain stuck in the darkness is also you. And the path out of the darkness, or at least to the place where the dark and the light meet, which is quite exquisite, is by opening your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, by allowing your skin to feel, and by allowing your heart to be constantly refilled, by gathering up all the bones that you've ever given to anybody and reclaiming them for your own. And then sing loudly. You have to sing loudly because everybody else is screaming. So if you don't sing loudly, you won't hear your own voice and you'll have doubt. So sing as loud as you can and don't care about who else hears it. Because maybe you'll start a trend. Maybe other people will hear you singing and they'll be like, oh my God, her bones are coming back together. His bones are coming back together. Flesh and blood and life. I want that. I want that. Can you teach me how to sing? And then that's how you serve, is by teaching others how to sing, not by fixing them. So any thoughts, questions, reflections? And do a little time check. Oh, good. Yeah. Any questions, thoughts, or reflections? What do you think? I see the hand. No? Okay. All right. Yeah, yes.
Can you speak a little bit about the relationship that sort of like yin-yang of the doubt, the remembering, the forgetting process?
Sure. It's beautiful. Totally. Doubt is a poison of the heart. But it really only becomes the ultimate poison of the heart that can actually kill the heart when there is a complete denial of its opposite. Right? We exist in a world of opposites. There's night and there's day, there's up and there's down, there's in and there's out, there's dark and there's light. And those opposites exist because of the existence of our senses. We look and we say, we're inside now and the cold is outside. Yay. Or we might say, we're inside now and the warmth is outside. Oh no. Our senses drew in all this information, telling us how we can perceive our experience and our place in the world in this moment, and in many other moments, in all other moments. As long as we understand that opposites exist, then the opposites are only a small problem. It's when we forget that the opposites actually balance each other out and we give all our credo to one and denial of the other. So, for example, I am completely broken. I have no wholeness. That's an issue. That is an issue. The beauty that exists within our brokenness is that in that very same moment, wholeness also exists. The yin and the yang coexist in this materialized world. You can't just have yin. It's not possible. But your mind might tell you you can. For whatever reason, your ego decides, nope, there's no such thing as yang. doesn't exist anymore. There's only yin. What kind of world would that be? Everybody be like a puddle on the floor. Absolutely no energy whatsoever to bring your bones. You wouldn't even have bones. Bones are yang, you know? Yeah. Right? They'd melt away into a puddle of bone water. I don't know. Calcium. Yeah. So there are these opposites, you know. And we might look and say, doubt is bad. Doubt serves a purpose if it's healthy. It causes us to question. And particularly on this path of spirituality, we're meant to inquire. We're meant to ask why. You don't just take things blindly. You don't listen to me or anybody else. You have to have your own experiential understanding of everything. So doubt plays an important part in your psychology. It's when doubt becomes your focus. It's when you say, well, the abundance doesn't exist because the doubt exists. The doubt has the power. Now you're cheating yourself out of a full life. And it becomes a chronic inflammation of the ego. Absolutely. In Ayurveda, we have a saying, like increases like and opposites decrease. So if you have agita, and you're a spicy food lover, and you go to South India, where all the food is spicy, your agita is going to increase. If you go to South India and you've got agita, you have to seek out some sattvic food, some food that is less spicy or not spicy at all. That's how you counter the agita, right? If you have a vata imbalance, too much air and space, then you don't start twirling in the middle of this room, jumping on a plane and flying here, jumping on a car and driving there, letting your mind go into 10,000 different directions. No, that's that's more air, that's more space. That means that you're really going to be ungrounded. Instead, you invoke the earth, the stillness, the stability. You come into one place of being and you stop twirling. And you reclaim your foundation by marrying the opposites in a way that brings about optimal balance. It's not 50-50. It never is. It's appropriate. It's whatever is appropriate. Sometimes you need more yang, sometimes you need more yin. And so the beauty of doubt is that there's an awakening from doubt if we don't get lost in it. And that moment of awakening is a revelation. It's an aha. You would never have that experience. How many of you have had an aha moment? How many of you love that? Thank you, doubt. Because if doubt wasn't present, you would never have had that aha moment. The reason why you had the aha moment was because there was also a part of you that recognized that the doubt was lying to you. It wasn't telling you the complete truth. And you kept some part of your heart open to the truth. And the truth came through. It arrived. So nothing is ever bad. And nothing is ever really good either. It just is. And we're just having an experience of it. And then our mind says, well, I don't know. There's a little pull in that carpet. That's bad. Maybe I just throw the whole carpet out. Another person would look and say, oh, it's very bohemian. Right? Totally shabby chic. Exactly. I bought these sheets that the hem is pulled. Like, it's like this. It's not finished. You know? My prayer shawl doesn't have a hem. Some people would look and say, oh, you have to put a hem there. Other people would say, no. Why? Why put a hem there? Everything is only your experience of it. It's how you perceive it. Can you expand your perception so that you recognize that in every moment of doubt there is the possibility of clarity? In every moment of pain there is the possibility of healing. In every moment of hate there is the possibility of love. In every moment of love there is the possibility of hate. If we're not mindful. Yeah. Did you have a question? Yeah. Other questions or reflections? Yes.
So you can say that suffering can be a path to peace.
Oh, yeah.
Like my own suffering, my back issue, my surgery has led me to acceptance and peace.
Absolutely.
To my past of why things didn't work out when I thought they should. It wasn't time.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely. And the pain is teaching you something. Pain always teaches us something if we're open to it. You see, there's compassion and there's apathy. And if you have apathy towards your pain, then you're in a pretty rough spot. If you have apathy toward your experience as a human, of your body breaking down, of your body being injured or harmed in some way, then you're in a very deep place of suffering. But if you can allow that pain to teach you how to have compassion for yourself, true compassion, not pity, compassion, then you might find that your relationship to the pain changes and it no longer impacts your life the same way as it did before. Not because it goes away, but because you accept it. Because you accept it. You know? You accept it. When they make roadways, they blow up mountains. All they had to do was go around. All they had to do was have compassion for the presence of nature and go around. There was already a trail that a deer walked through, created. All they had to do was follow that. But instead, what did they try to do? They tried to blow up the mountain. And when they blew up the mountain, they were blowing up the body of the mother. And they were killing. And they were ravaging. And they were violent. And it didn't have to be. When you have pain in your body, don't blow it up. Don't hate it. Work with it. Find the path that's already present to acceptance. Because that will bring about the greatest healing. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about in those times of feeling really, at least in my experience, and feeling lost comes with not knowing what, like having a lot of trouble with decision making, and what is the next right move. And a lot of times there's a lot of decisions to be made, and even in my moments of trying to like scale things back, not be overwhelmed by needing to figure out 6 different areas of my life all at once, but sometimes it has to be that way. And how to trust yourself and just knowing like what is the next right thing that I should be doing.
Yeah. It's a great question. And one that I guarantee every other person in this room has asked. At least once, if not 10,000 times. The first thing that I'll say to that is that there's a great quote, I'm not sure who said it. They said, 100% of everything will resolve without your input. Right? So there you go. 100% of everything will resolve without your input. So that being said, because we live a life where we want to have input, we have to prioritize and ask ourselves where the input matters. And in order to understand where the input matters, we have to know what our core quality is. What is the core quality that you are seeking in this life? What is the core quality that you are looking for, that you're looking to rediscover? What is the core quality that you wish to be your guide in all your actions. And then you can look at all the places where you are trying to insert authority. And you can ask yourself, is that in line with my core quality? Is that in line with my core quality? And what you'll find is things will start falling away, because if you are dedicated to your core quality, the things that aren't in line with it, you know you don't need to invest in. Some of them you will want to invest in anyway. And that'll be a decision that you'll have to make. But don't invest in things that you want to invest in at the expense of your core quality. You won't realize your core quality. You won't realize it. Because you're taking your energy and you're putting it over here into something that you're only kind of interested in, hoping maybe it'll work something out. When right over here there is something that if you put a little more investment of your time, energy, and singing into, those bones will come together and manifest something amazing. Because that's where you're meant to be. But to know where you're meant to be, you've got to quiet down the ego. You've got to quiet down the ego. You've got to stop chasing every single thing that moves. And you've got to stay still and hold your ground for a little while. Learn how to listen. And when you have 6 different decisions that have to be made in this exact moment, or at least that's what we believe, then we need to put a hand on our heart and a hand on our gut, because that's the first brain, right? This is the second brain, that's the first brain. And we say to ourselves, is this right? No. I'm not asking, am I going to get wealthy, famous, discovered, hurt? No, that's not what I'm asking. Because all those things are going to happen. Anyway, you're going to have a moment where you're wealthy, a moment where you're poor, a moment where you're hurt, a moment where you're discovered, a moment where you're lost. You're going to have all those things because this is life. Is this right? Is this right? Do I need to add one more thing into my already busy schedule? Is my schedule full of things that they should be full of? Or is there space that I could clear out? And you need to make these hard decisions clearly and succinctly, listening to the song of the heart. When you start doing that, you'll start feeling more grounded. Initially, it'll feel like, oh, this is so hard. I want that over there. Because what if I'm wrong? Doubt. Poison of the heart. If you say no to that, you say yes to this. If you say no to this, you say yes to that. By saying no to one thing, you're automatically saying yes to something else. So something will happen. It will. And if you recognize that and allow it to bring you joy instead of dread, then whatever comes to you will bring you joy. And you don't have to worry so much about it being the right or the wrong. You just have to listen to yourself. Because I guarantee you've already got the answer. You're just maybe a little afraid to listen to it. But that's because you got bones hidden under dust in the corners. And you're not singing loud enough. So sing louder. And it will come. I hope that helps, supports, offers something to think about. You know, it's so interesting. Like, my schedule is crazy sometimes. There's so many places I need to be and people that I need to talk to. And people want me to be giving talks here and giving talks there. And for many years, I tried to do all of them. Because I'm a servant. It's what I do. It's my heart. My heart is to serve. So why not? You want me to come give a talk? I'll come give a talk. But then one day, I had 3 talks. 2 of them at the same time. And I looked at my schedule and I said, what am I doing? I'm not sleeping enough. I'm always going somewhere. And an intern that I love very much who was with us for quite a long time, came up to me in a very interesting moment when I recognized this blunder on my schedule and said, "Can I share something with you?" I said, "Sure." And he said, "We miss you." And I said, "You miss me? I'm always here." He goes, "No, you're not." He said, "More and more you're away. More and more you're away. And we're here because this is where you need to be. And we're here waiting for you." So you know what I did? Canceled all 3 talks. Put my feet on the ground. Said enough is enough. Now I do still go out and do talks, of course. But reasonably so. Because you can only pay 1 master, not 2. And you definitely can't pay 3. Any other thoughts? Reflections? Do a time check? All right. So, I know that's a heavy talk. They all are. Or at least that would be my hope. Give you lots to think about, and lots of inspirations on how to bring everything closer to you in a way that you are an active participant in your own life. Stop giving away your power. Stop demanding things of other people that are not reasonable. As a matter of fact, just stop demanding things of other people, because no demand is reasonable. Nobody owes you anything. Stop grasping onto things. This is going to fall away. This is going to fall away. This is going to fall away. This is all going to fall away. So stop grasping onto it like it's ever. It's not forever. It's for now. And the more that you can let go of, the more freedom you will experience. And the clearer the answers will become, because that freedom will be like coming home. It'll be an aha moment. And then you'll see more clearly, once the fog has lifted or started to lift, what you need to be doing and what you don't need to be doing. They did a test with monkeys. I think they were actually chimpanzees. They did them with, not monkeys. Monkeys are not chimpanzees, and chimpanzees are not monkeys. They're different. But they took these chimpanzees and they gave them a jar, and they put a banana in the jar. And they could see through the jar. And they put their hand in the jar, tried to pull the banana out, tried to pull the coconut out. But as long as they held on to it, they couldn't get it out. Because the hole was only big enough for their hand to go in. Once they made a fist, it wasn't big enough. So they were testing them to see if the chimpanzees would figure out that they had to take their hand out and turn the jar over. I don't know that any of them got it. But I know we didn't. Matter of fact, maybe one of them got it. I don't know that we have it all. Something we could think about. What do you have to let go of in order to be able to get what's inside the jar? Okay. So let's sit tall and close the eyes. And take a nice breath in and a nice breath out. And call your bones home. Reclaim yourself, your strength, your stability, your foundation. Reclaim your presence, your awareness. Reclaim your heart, your love. Reclaim your story. Reclaim your truth. Honor all of it. And hold fast to yourself. Let what falls away fall away. And only pick up that which is true to be picked up. And draw the hands together in front of the heart. And we'll lift our voices in one Om. Take a breath in. Bowing the head to the heart, acknowledging all that is, and drawing the face to center. Namaste. Thank you all so much for sitting with me today. It's so wonderful to share space with each and every one of you, to go through this inquiry together. We're never alone. We're really not. And then we always are. That's the dichotomy. Those are the opposites. Yeah. But which one will you hold fast to? The alone or the Sangha? Hold fast to the Sangha. It's far more supportive. Far more supportive. Yeah. At least we can pile on top of each other in a puppy pile, and build a foundation, because we're all missing bones. If we try to just kind of stand up without one of those vertebrae or the thigh bone, we're going to have a hard time. So we come together to support each other. Yeah. So we're going to take a little 15-minute break. 15-minute break while we prepare for Arati. And then we'll come back in here for Arati. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you. Shital, how have you been? Oh, good. You have a lot going on, I see.
I know. I'm excited about some stuff.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd love to hear about it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so...
I wanted to just ask you a quick question. I asked that nice lady if she has the gray poncho on.
Yep.
She was greeting people as they came in. I think she was.
Oh, yeah, Leslie, she just walked out.
Yes. I asked her about this, but she said that I should really talk to you. I was wondering if it's possible to come for a partial Vipassana retreat or not.
Yeah, because you're a practitioner. You mean one of the ones we already have scheduled?
Yeah, like the one in May I was thinking of.
Absolutely.
Do you happen to know approximately what time of month that is, beginning, middle, end?